Hi, good evening. It's Antoinette McQueenie here. I'm going to talk in a few minutes about some issues, some women's issues. So if you want to grab a pen and paper or a cuppa, then do so now, because there may be some remedy names that you want to write down. And I've listed the remedies here already. They are Nux Balm, Sepia, Staphysagria, what else? Ignatia and Pulsatilla, I think. So this little chat tonight is just, it's come about because of some of the chats I've had here in this office in the last few weeks. And these are issues that are affecting a lot of women. Hi Katrina, if you've got any questions, anybody who's watching, there's a few of you coming on now. If you've got any questions, just post them. I might try to get to them at the end if I know the answers, and if I don't know the answers, I'll get back to you. So this little video is for women. It's for women who have children. It's for women who will have children in the future. It's for women who have grown-up children. It's for women who want to take a more holistic approach to their health. And so I have some homeopathic suggestions for different situations, and I have some other tips as well. But like I said, this has all come about because of conversations I've had here. There is no judgment here. These are issues that affect everyone, myself included. So we'll just get on with it. If you've got your pen and paper, you might want to write a few things down, and if you don't, that's absolutely fine. Gemma, yes, I got your message a few minutes ago. It's too late for this one, but I will get back to you afterwards. And what may happen is I've had loads of questions come in about this video, because I haven't done a live video in my Facebook, my business page, in quite some time. I do them all the time in my private group. So I've had loads and loads of questions come in for this. So what I might do is maybe not make it a weekly feature, but maybe a fortnightly feature where we just come on and we kind of unravel a few women's issues and see how we get on. So it is women I am treating mostly at the moment. I do treat men and children as well, but at the moment it's all women who are coming to me, and that's great. I love that. So the things I'm going to talk about here tonight are issues of resentment, guilt and exhaustion. There are three big ones that kind of come up again and again, and I'm going to start with exhaustion. So I never talk about exhaustion without mentioning the adrenals. Now, our adrenal glands are tiny little glands that sit on top. Hey Risha, they sit on top of our kidneys, and the function of the adrenal glands is to regulate energy levels throughout the body. It's to boost our concentration, our focus, and it's to give us that kind of zest for life. And I'm sure most of you have heard of the term adrenal fatigue. So that's what I'm going to talk about first. Adrenal fatigue and exhaustion, it's pretty much the same thing in my book. The first physical sign of adrenal fatigue in a woman are these dark circles or dark shadows. Look, I even have them. I brought my own along to show you. That's how committed I am to this. These are the things that we cover up with concealer. And we spend, as I get older, I'm spending more and more money on concealer, trying to cover these things up that I never had until I had my first baby. And that's caused by stress, lack of sleep, overwork, adrenal fatigue. So some of the other signs of adrenal fatigue is if you wake up in the morning and you're exhausted, even if you've had a decent night's sleep, you still feel really, really tired. If you're relying on cups of coffee, cups of tea, Coke, God help us, to get you through the day. If you're having sugar dips and you need more and more sugar to keep you up during the day, your adrenals are in trouble. If you have no libido, I hear that all the time, it's going back to your adrenals as well. If your concentration is poor, think of your poor old adrenals. Let me see what else. I have been very good, and I have some notes here tonight. Insomnia. So you're feeling exhausted, yet you go to bed and you can't sleep. That's your adrenals again. Hiya Debbie, hope you're well, missus. So the way to strengthen your adrenals are to, according to the books, get more sleep, cut down on stress, again, and have better quality food. food is often neglected when we're talking about our health. Katrina, I'm sure you would agree here. A good diet is the foundation of good health, and as busy women, we are often eating on the hoof. We're just grabbing whatever. I'm as bad as anybody. I'll make a really good dinner for my kids, and then I find myself just pulling whatever is left over out of the fridge and just going with that myself, and it's not good enough. We have to look after ourselves better, and I appreciate that's really hard when you have small babies. So 3 remedies to talk about for adrenal fatigue. These are to help you in the short term. Look, they are not going to replace a lack of sleep, because that will catch up eventually. But this is about bringing awareness to the problem as well, and knowing that we can't keep running on empty indefinitely. Time will run out. But in the meantime, here are some remedies to help you get through those days. The first one is sepia. And sepia is a fabulous woman's remedy. It's a very hormonal remedy. And when a woman needs sepia, when she has adrenal fatigue, she is just flat. There's nothing there. There is no joy. There's no zest for life. She just feels exhausted, worn out, overworked, fed up. I often see this with young mums who have just had a baby, or maybe they're on their 2nd or 3rd baby, and they feel everyone is pulling out at them. Rita, I love sepia too. I've taken it myself loads of times. When a woman is in this state, she feels she has just no time for herself, and she would love to get away. So if that is you, if that sounds like you, then sepia could be the one to help you. Then the next remedy is Nux Balm. Now, Nux Balm wakes up in the morning, and I talk about remedies as if they're people, because to me it just helps me to have a better picture of them. Nux Balm wakes up in the morning and she is exhausted and she's irritable, and it takes her several cups of coffee to get going in the morning. We all know Nux Balm people. Come on, I have been there myself. And then as the day goes on, she starts to feel better because she's having loads of coffee, she's having loads of stimulants to keep her going. But then by nighttime, she's had so much that she's just wired. She's tired but wired and cannot switch off that busy brain's thinking. So Nux Balm is a great remedy for the liver when the liver has been overloaded with the likes of coffee and tea and whatever other stimulants you're going for. So instead of lying there awake at night, tossing and turning and the mind going crazy, just have a Nux Balm and see what happens, see will it settle you down. The third remedy is Ignatia, and Ignatia is known as a grief remedy, and I am going to talk about more in relation to grief and guilt in a couple of minutes, but it's also really good for helping when we're exhausted from stress or from worried or from being worried. So there's different reasons for us being exhausted. Some people lie in bed at night time stressing about things. Others are lying in bed awake because they've had too much coffee. Others are lying in bed awake because they have all these mad ideas that just come to them at night time. Ignatia is not able to sleep at night because she's worried about somebody, and during the day she's exhausted. She's quiet, she's not really talking about it, she feels really bad for some reason. She feels overwhelmed and tearful and is likely to keep all of this to herself. So if that sounds like you, Ignatia is the remedy to get. 2 other tips that aren't homeopathic but will help is, the first one is Epsom salts. If you can have an Epsom salt bath, magnesium is great for helping the brain to switch off at night time. It helps to boost the adrenals, and it helps to just get us in the mood for sleeping. And if you can't have a magnesium bath, and in this weather nobody's really having baths, have a foot bath. Throw in a couple of handfuls of Epsom salts or bread soda or even regular salt, and it draws down all the thoughts from the head and just helps us to relax. How much should we take if we're exhausted? Which are you talking about? The remedies, Rita? If you're talking about the remedies, I would say no more than 3 a day. And 3 is my limit, actually. I have a rule of 3. I don't like to take any more than 3 of any remedy. And if there is no improvement after 3 doses, then it's not the right remedy. So you have to know when to stop. Minimum dose, you only take enough to stimulate your own body to start healing itself and to start feeling better itself. And then you stop. You said if mum's taking, I don't know what you mean, my dear. So three, no more than three of these remedies. Usually one remedy in the day is enough to give you that boost to keep you going. But you don't take them long term. And when you go into a pharmacy, yeah, Lisa, 30C is absolutely fine. For anybody who's watching and doesn't know what that message means, 30C is just the strength of it, and it's the strength that we buy in health food shops and in pharmacies. I don't know what I was going to say. Saying something else. Anyway, I'll continue. Phones are a disaster in the bedroom at night time, and we're all guilty of it. We lie there, we wake up and think, oh, I'll just see if anybody's been texting me or anybody needs me. And last night I did this. So again, I'm talking the talk. I woke up, I went to bed really early and woke up at about 11 o'clock and was just lying there going, what'll I do now? So I went on my phone. And what happens is when you look at a backlit screen, and that's what your phone is, and you know, most of you know this stuff already. We all know that phones aren't good for us, but there's a reason why they're not good in the bedroom. That backlit screen can really confuse our brain. Our brain is in rest mode, and we have no lights on, and this starts to happen as the evening comes in. You know, the lights come down, the lights dim, and melatonin is produced in the brain, and it starts to settle us down, gets us ready for sleep. And then suddenly we have a big bright screen in our face, and it's like, woohoo, party time to get up again. And that's what our brain is thinking. So we think we're doing a good thing by lying in bed on our phone trying to relax, and the very opposite is happening. So I got back to sleep about 4 o'clock this morning. That's what I get for having the phone in the room. And even just having it in the room and not turned on is enough to stimulate brain activity, because you have all that electricity and that the frequency coming off the mobile phone. And sometimes you're on one side with your phone, your partner's on the other side, and then at the bottom of the bed there's a TV, and there's like a triangle of electricity going around you the whole night. It's no wonder we can't settle down. Gemma says you can get a great app that dims the light on your phone. Brilliant. But even better, leave it out of the bedroom. Okay, we're moving on. I'm just going to take a drink of water. So there's loads of people on here. I hope I'm making sense to you all. Mother's guilt, and we all suffer from that. It doesn't matter, I think, if our kids are babies or if they're fully grown up. We are all blaming ourselves for every single thing that's ever gone wrong in their lives. And we feel guilty when we feel that we've neglected our duty, or we've let somebody down, or we failed in an obligation in some way. And I hear this all the time, and I have it myself, and oh my God, we think we are messing up our kids, so we've shouted at them, or we've said something that's going to mess them up for the rest of their lives. We have guilt when they fall. We have guilt when they won't sleep in their own beds at night. We have guilt when we have to leave them at a childminder's. We have guilt when we have to leave them at home. We can't get away from it, and it's such a useless emotion. Guilt, all of these emotions affect different parts of our bodies. Exhaustion affects the adrenals, like I said, but guilt affects the lungs and the chest. So if you are prone to a lot of chesty coughs, or a lot of coughs in general, or chest infections, or wheeziness, just have a look at your life and see, is there something that you're feeling really, really bad about that has caused this energy to just stagnate here in your chest? I'm doing a really interesting online workshop at the moment, or an online course, and it's a personal development one. But we've been doing a lot of work about forgiveness in the last few days, and it's not about forgiving others, it's about forgiving ourselves, because, we're only human. We are not superhuman. None of us have a cape. We're just struggling like everybody else. So we need to go easier on ourselves and just accept that we're all doing our best and we're trying to keep people alive. And some days you just can't get any more than that. So the remedies for Ignatia, and the first one is, or the remedies for guilt, the first one is Ignatia. And I have a private group of, we have 600 women in there now, it's amazing. And they come on there when they have a problem at home. You know, if somebody's had a fall, if somebody's gotten sick, if they're worried about somebody, and they come on, they say, well, what can I give? I've given this already and here's the symptoms. And somebody will always step in and say, okay, mum needs aconite herself for shock, and she needs Ignatia because she's feeling like crap over what's happened. So it's really important. Over a year ago, my girl on her 9th birthday was playing on these bars. It was in the children's playground, and she was shouting, "Mommy, look at me, Mommy, look at me." And I turned away for 1 second because my son's eardrum was just after bursting. And that's what happens when you're out with kids. Turned away for 1 second to look at him, and she fell and broke her 2 front teeth. And that played in my head for 6 months afterwards, that whole thing, "Mommy, look at me," and then suddenly smashed. I felt so bad. I carried it here. I had to get loads of work done on myself. But Ignatia was the remedy that I should have been taking all along, and I didn't even think about, because I'm not good at thinking about things for myself. And that's why we need groups, and we need support, and we need somebody saying, have you taken this for yourself? Rita says, how do people get into your group? My group is a private group, so you have to be either invited in, you can look to find it on Facebook, and then you have to wait for approval, because I'm fiercely protective about what goes on in there and who's in there, so I don't want any nasty trolls in there. The name of the group is Antoinette's Homeopathy and Self-Care, so if you want to find it, and you can send a request to join the group. It's a really supportive, lovely group of women who are there all the time to help us. So I will get on. Oh, the replay in our heads. Yes, Kelly, yeah, it's going on all the time. Why wasn't I there? Why didn't I move faster? Why did I bring her there in the first place? Why wasn't I looking? It's just, it's continuous, and it just eats away at us. And it doesn't do anybody any favours at all, least of all us. And the child as well does not want to see mommy killing herself for months over something, because they look to us for support and to know that everything is okay. And if we're in a puddle on the floor, it's not helping them, you know. So Ignatia is for something that's happened recently. If we're feeling really bad about something that's happened recently, Ignatia is the one. Then if it's something that happened a long time ago, and it could be going back 10 years, 20 years, Nat Muir is more so the remedy to think of. It's an old grief that's been there, that you've been thinking about. You know, you didn't stand up for them with a teacher that time, or you didn't pick them up on time off the bus. Could be going back 20 years. But it has stayed there, eaten away. So Nat Muir is the remedy for that one. And then the last remedy for guilt or mommy's grief is pulsatilla. And this is a totally different energy. Pulsatilla feels bad about everything. It's a more dramatic kind of, it's a more dramatic state than the other two, which are steeped in sadness. Pulsatilla will talk about how bad they feel. The others won't. They keep it quiet. They'll tell everybody how bad they feel about whatever has happened and how guilty they feel, and they will cry about it, and they'll get it out like that, and they need lots of cuddles and lots of hugs. So they're all very different. The first two, Ignatia and Nat Muir, not inclined to talk about how bad they're feeling. Keep it to themselves. Pulsatilla will tell everyone. Okay, we're moving on. I still got everyone I have. Oh my God. Resentment. Again, this is massive for women. Same potency, 30C, Rita. All of the remedies that I'm talking about here, 30C will help anybody. You don't need to go self-prescribing with anything higher or lower than that. 30C is a good potency. So resentment and anger, and this is something I think that comes as soon as you have kids. Up until then, it's very much it's a 50-50 kind of partnership with you and your man, or you and your partner, and then suddenly baby comes on the scene, and sorry guys if there's anyone watching, but the man's life does not change. For most, before I get loads of messages, for most men, their lives do not change the same way as a woman's life changed. Most women are the primary caregivers in their families. And the men are still taking on the hunter-gatherer roles, even though a lot of women are hunter-gatherers as well. They're out working as well, and they're still coming in and they're doing everything. And so many women say to me, I feel really bad for saying this and I shouldn't be thinking it, but I need more help. He's not giving me enough help. And there was a really interesting article going around Facebook a few weeks ago, and it was saying husbands, partners shouldn't be helping they shouldn't be helping their spouses. They shouldn't be helping, this thing of helping. They should be doing 50-50. You know, it should be an equal. Yeah, Louise, yeah, we have this conversation all the time here. It goes on in every single house. And at least you're talking about it though, Louise. A lot of women aren't, and a lot of women are back in that cape and they think, well, I should be able to do it all because my friend down the road who looks fantastic every single time she's out, she's doing it all. But you know, your friend down the road isn't talking about it either. Nobody is talking about it. That's inside, that you have to do it all. You feel you have to do it all. And in a lot of cases, we are doing it all. So our workload increases hugely. Our sleep goes down, and yet we have to carry on and carry on as normal and be grateful that he comes home at all. Says me, my husband's working all weekend. Fecker. Okay, so yes, this thing about help, we need more help. We shouldn't be expecting help from our partners. Help is what you get from a really good neighbour who come in now and again and put on a load of washing for you. Help is not what we expect from our partners. We want 50-50. We want them to step up. So here's what's happening. Women aren't talking about it, or they are. And these 3 remedies will, have I got 3? Maybe I've only got 2 for this one. These remedies will tell you a little bit more about the woman's state. So, like before, anger, resentment will affect a different part of our body. And it's the liver that gets affected by feelings of resentment and anger and annoyance and rage. And when the energy is displaced in our liver, it causes things like headaches. It causes digestive issues. We're literally burning up inside. Lots of stomach ulcers. What else? We could have, let me check my notes. Toothaches. People who suddenly develop toothaches for no reason. It's the first thing I always say to them. What are you so angry about? What's really annoyed you that you're not talking about? And this is all suppressed anger, because if we're talking about it, we're getting it out and we don't get these symptoms. But if we're not talking about it, it's bouncing around our body doing different things. So it's suppressed anger usually. Or we're talking about it but not enough, and we're not feeling any relief when we're talking about it. If we hold on to this resentment for long enough, it will eventually settle in hips and knees, and we get arthritic. So the 2 remedies, the first one is Staphysagria, and Staphysagria is a huge, huge remedy for suppressed anger. And these women will never, actually I need a drink of water, excuse me. These women do not talk about how they're feeling. They put on the face and they smile through gritted teeth. And from the outside, you'd never know that there was anything bothering them, but inside there could be very vengeful thoughts and thoughts that aren't nice, and they feel very, very bad for having them in the first place. But they're overworked and they're stressed and they're feeling overwhelmed. So, you know, we're entitled to these thoughts. These are our own thoughts. Own them. And don't try and push them away, because then we can't do anything with them. So it's okay to say, I feel really pissed off today. That's absolutely fine, and you're getting it out in some way. A woman who needs Staphysagria is a ticking time bomb, and she will not explode, but she'll implode. It'll all go inside. It'll never go out. And sometimes when women take the remedy Staphysagria, this anger starts to come out, and they get very frightened by it, and they get they're surprised by it, and they don't like it. It's a side of them that they don't like, and I've had a few women who have come off the remedy because they couldn't handle it. All this years of suppressed anger started to come out. I thought it was great, but it can be uncomfortable for some. The second remedy is sepia. again, for when you're feeling really fed up, angry, resentful. A sepia woman has had to compromise her own wants and her own longings for somebody else. So she may have had to give up her job, she may have had to shorten her hours, she may have to pack so much more into her day, and she feels everybody is pulling out of her. See, sepia applies to a lot of people, I think. So she can be either really irritable and talking about how annoyed she is and how angry she is, or there's just that deadness again, just that flatness of nothing going on, just doesn't matter. There's a lot of menstrual issues. When a woman needs sepia, the periods might be very, very light, but there's a feeling of a heaviness, a feeling as if everything is going to fall out. They feel drained. They use that word a lot when we use that word a lot when we need the remedy sepia, drained. So a practical tip, besides taking those remedies, is to write it out. And there's loads of different ways of releasing anger in the body. You know, you could go for a run, you could do some tapping, but I like to write things down. And it just stops things whirling around in my head if I get the pen and paper out. And it doesn't have to be complete sentences. It can be just random words. It doesn't have to make sense. It's like purge it, get it out, get it moving. Just get that flow going so it's not stuck in here. You know, you're moving it from the subconscious to the conscious to the page. And then it's a great way of clearing things. And then you can burn that afterwards. I'm looking at a fly trying to get in the window here. You burn it. And the next day you might have to do it again as more stuff comes up, and that's okay. That's all right. This is a process. It's going to take some time. And these years, they don't last forever. When kids are really small and you feel like you are doing everything yourself, they don't last forever. Just take hope. And please try and talk to the person in your life that is causing these feelings. We don't have to be superheroes, like I said. And if we don't talk, I'm sorry, but the men, they won't know. If we're putting on this face like everything is fine, they won't know. They won't. So that is it. They are the three things I wanted to talk about tonight. This is just a flavour or a taster of the range of the remedies. And it's not one size fits all for these remedies by any means. So if something here is resonating with you and you think, oh yeah, that sounds exactly like me, then go and get the remedy. They're not very expensive. You can get them from your homeopath, or if they supply them, or you can get them from a health food shop, or come to me. So the remedies I mentioned again were sepia, staphysagria, nux vomica, ignatia and pulsatilla. And they're 5 really, really good remedies to have. Kelly's saying, what's the group name? The group's name is Antoinette's Homeopathy and Self-Care, or maybe Antoinette's Homeopathic Tips and Self-Care. I don't know. Kelly, if you PM me, I will put you in the group. Rita's saying, can you buy online? You can get in touch with Helios, or what's the Irish one? There's an Irish homeopathic supplies company as well for anyone watching in Ireland. Like I said earlier, don't take any more than 3 remedies in a day, and don't take them for a long time. Just, it's the minimum dose. It's the least amount required. It's not like taking other pills where you're taking one a day for 5 days, or you're taking one twice a day for 2 weeks. It's not like that. This is a different type of medicine, and it works in a different way. So that is it, ladies. If you want to get in touch to book an appointment or book a consultation, you can send me a private message. You can contact me at antoinettemcqueenie@gmail.com, or get in touch with me here. It's very, very easy. And if you'd like to join the private group, absolutely. Lisa, you're saying Down to Earth in Dublin Post Remedies. Great. And it's really good to have a kit. You have a Helios kit. I love the Ainsworth kits myself. There's 42 remedies in those, and a really good book that comes with them. It's great to have a kit at home, and then you can go straight in and just take what you need to take without having to, first of all, develop the symptoms, then work out what they are, then work out the remedy, and then go and ring up your supplier for them. You know, you could be 2 weeks doing all of that. Lisa, you're very, very welcome. That's it, ladies. There's one more thing I wanted to say. As of the 1st of September, unless some of you can suggest something different, this page I'm retiring this page. I'm shutting down this page. Hi, Anna. And Rebecca, you're very welcome. I am switching over to a page that's already set up but isn't active yet, and it's Antoinette McQueenie Homeopathy. And the reason I'm shutting down the page is because I have tried to change the name and Facebook won't let me because it's too big of a name change and there's too many followers on it, so they won't let me. So I'm going to have to start from scratch, but I will invite everybody to come over onto the other page. Also, when I set up the page, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, I was only treating people in Leitrim, but now I am treating women all over the world. And when they see Homeopathy Leitrim, they think homeopathy is a type of, they think Leitrim is a type of homeopathy, so it's just causing confusion. Still based in Leitrim, but I'm treating people all over the place. Aisling, you're saying anything for a sinus infection. Depends on how long it's there, Aisling. I don't know if you have a kit. Calibic is a great remedy for sinus infections, or pulsatilla if there's lots of green goo that's coming out. Linda, thank you. Found it very interesting. I'm so glad you did, Linda. Okay, everybody, have a lovely night. I am going to go and round up my kids and get them to bed. And I hope you found this beneficial. And I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.